Hey there, everybody. Happy Monday Moon Day to you. I hope you are having a bright and beautiful Monday Moon Day. We were saying moon, and it seems like we've had a lot of astrological things going on. Mercury is in retrograde. I think that happened last Wednesday. So, Mercury is the planet that controls communication. So you can imagine with all the stuff going on that... I mean, can we get less disconnected with communication? But anyway, so we have that going on. A new moon was yesterday. I love that new moon energy because it really does speak to this, this time of renewal and reinvigorating and re-energizing ourselves and our environment and the world that we live in. As well as we had summer solstice. It's just been like one of those climatica kind of events. A climatica is... it usually happens in 7-year cycles. So if you'd like to read more about that, I'll try and put a little link in the description box below so you can kind of explore that concept. So I've got a couple new journals to go in the shop today. Thank you guys for supporting the Etsy store. That was just awesome. Yesterday I posted 2 new journals and whoosh, they were gone, and that just makes me so happy in so many ways. In so many ways, my friends. We've got Summer Purple going in the shop today. She is a sweet Big Mama journal. We enhanced the spine with some purple and pink and white beads going on. Really pretty bead spine. Of course, now these are big journals and they're soft cover journals. So this is kind of what happens with the spine of these journals. They kind of collapse at the top because the binding of the journal really does have to be good and tight to make sure that things are stable inside the journal. Of course, we have our hairy paper clips. We have all kinds of fibers, fabrics for you to play with up here. Lots of fun in those hairy paper clips. My friend says that my journals, my friend Casey says that my journals always look like they're going to a party. And I was like, yeah, they kind of are. They're shipping to people who are going to have a party with them. So here we go. We start off with the word here. I did explain to you guys how I got the 10 by 10 fabric, and it was like the total wrong size for me to work with. So I did have to bump it out with extra fabric that I had. So we have a very cobbled kind of looking journal. But, that's different. I don't know if I'll ever do that again. I ordered the fabric, thought it was the right size, wasn't the right size, so I spent a whole day trying to fix it and work with it because I really did love the pattern. We've got a secret garden cluster for you. If you are, we really did enhance that purple going on the front of this book. Of course, you've got your 3 by 3 mini book here. You could honestly do let's look at this for a minute. This is why creative clusters are so cool. So you can take your cluster and you can use the elements of it to bump out your 3 by 3 journal. So this is a blank journal. You can decorate it with the things that you find in your creative cluster. It's just a lot of fun to work with. And of course, the 3 by 3 mini books, I've done videos that show you how to make these. They are so simple, nothing to it at all. So anyway, I spent one day, just trying to bump out the fabric for this new batch of journals. I'm going to order fabric because I am just not getting out these days. I left the house last week on a Tuesday to run errands, and because everything was just going so slow and I forgot about a couple of stops that I needed to make, my phone was turned off while I was gone, so Chris got really frantic because he couldn't get in touch with me. Of course, we've been having all kinds of things going on in Richmond, and he really does like to keep in touch. He worries about my safety because I have had two incidents, not lately, but I have had incidents before of people approaching me. I had one guy stick his arm in my car door, which, you know, if he would have proceeded with that, I would have slammed my car door on his arm. Sorry, I know that might be mean, but he was mean. So, but anyways, Chris was like, can't go out anymore. And I'm like, what? And he said, I'll drive you wherever you need to go. And I was like, ooh, okay. Because I don't like to drive. And I thought, oh, okay. So we can kind of use that day that I go to the post office as a, you know, maybe we'll stop and have lunch in our car somewhere or something like that. But, you know, he's he's been really concerned about my safety, which is very sweet. We have a Text Me creative cluster. This is all about writing and reading. Has a little bit of Jane Austen in it. Has a Scrabble tile because my friends who write and read love to play Scrabble. I don't have anybody to play Scrabble with, but that's okay. This is a day at the beach creative cluster. Has all kinds of sweet images, napkins for collage. I really dig the mermaid ribbon that I found at the Dollar Tree. To me, that was like the find of the week. The mermaid is throwing a kiss, and the kiss is a heart, and it's silver on white, which is a really favorite color combination with me. We've got a little bit of Alice in Wonderland here. Old dictionary pages. I love these cookbooks. Now, this is from a big a cookbook, a book about cookbooks, which was very interesting. But it was $1 at the Dollar Tree, and the imagery is just so absolutely cool in it. So I really did love that. We have these 1960s patterns. These are for these are knitting patterns. My neighbor, I was talking to her yesterday, and she said she's been doing a lot of crochet. And I know that a lot of us are gravitating to the fiber arts, you know, as we are, you know, still staying inside, still kind of hunkering down and that sort of thing, you know, waiting for our lives to get back to a little bit of normal. It's my opinion, and just my opinion, I really love the colors on this cluster. I mean, this is not an official cluster, but this is the way I like to arrange my books. I like to curate these pages and arrange them in a way where they are automatically useful to you. You can take all this out and create something super cool. You could probably create a tag with this. We've got a little bit of Da Vinci in here. Someone sent me some Da Vinci papers, and I love them, love them, love them. You know, as we're kind of waiting on our phase 3 here, because we're still at the point where we can only have 50% capacity in a venue, and that, or in a restaurant, and that is really affecting Chris, because a lot of you know, it's come back, right? And we are very, very, very grateful for that. But it's still in that really tenuous kind of, you know, place that I read about. This is a sweet little creative cluster. Now, if you guys want to know what's inside the creative clusters, then I will put an iCard somewhere in this video, and you can check out the current clusters. I only make 6 clusters. I only make 6 clusters at a time, and they go in the 6 journals that I am putting together at that moment, and then they retire, so there'll never be another cluster exactly like these. This one is called Birds, Winged Things, I think I called it, because I did have some butterflies in there. You know, and we think about a return to normalcy. I'm just not quite sure that you know, that things will ever be normal again. But you know, I mean, it's a great, you know, we entered a new decade, and it kicked our tail, and but anytime that, we do have an opportunity to kind of start over and renegotiate and reinvigorate and redo and rejudge and reevaluate. Do we really want to go back to that normal? I really do think that my daughter-in-law, who works for Random House, is probably not going to go back to her office in New York City. Fortunately, she can do what she needs to do at home. My children did go into the city. They live in New Jersey, and they did go into the city last week, masked up, the whole deal, and went to her office to pick up some things because she needed to. They were opening her office for people to clear out what they needed to. And they did not stay. They went to see their friend, and then they came home. So, I know that there are still like these hot points and danger zones and, places where the virus is very active and, places where the virus is not active. But I believe that this is kind of a new sort of thing for us. This is a new normal, and it's a new way to recreate yourself or what you do or what you've been thinking about doing. Maybe now is a great time to pursue your dreams and get on with, that thing that you've always wanted to do in life. I mean, right now is a great time to step out and just try, because you never know what might come, what might come when you just step out in faith and just go for it. This is a medieval creative cluster. I really love this one. I love the visual imagery that is on the fabric pieces. So there we go. We've got some summer purple for the shop. Now let's look at this summer orange. Now let me tell you about this little, what happened here. You never know, this one's about 6 1/4. You never know how your book board, which is food packaging, is going to react to anything that you glue to it. So what we have here is a tiny, you can't even see it. I can see it if I turn it like this. It's a tiny bit of pucker right here, but that's just that's how it turned out. So it wasn't anything that I did differently. That's the interesting thing about creating, because you can do the same thing twice and get different results, especially when you're working with cardboard and glue and Mod Podge or any other sort of adhesive medium that you're using. So it's always interesting to me. It's kind of like being a chemist. We've got a sweet bead strand here, orange beads, as well as this off-white, which really did match well with the cover here. I don't know what these beads are. I mean, they've got like little seed beads on them, but they're just so cool. I absolutely love them so much. Thanks to all you guys who have sent me beads. It's been a great pleasure to have such a big bead stash. It makes me happy. Of course, this is our Cobble Together cover. This started out as a 10 by 10 that we bumped into a 14 by 9. 14 by 10 actually, because I did not take anything off the top here. We start with the creative cluster. This is our Winged Things creative cluster. I really did love this front to a greeting card. This is the Ida collection, and we know that Ida is, Ida was much beloved by her family, her grandchildren, her nieces, her nephews. Everybody loved Ida. So good vibes already starting in this book. Sometimes you have to take chances, and that's exactly, oddly, what we were just talking about. It's hard to step out and, I mean, stepping out does involve a lot of things, doesn't it? Stepping out in faith does involve things like letting go. So letting go and stepping out are technically, when you kind of look at them, you think, well, those are two opposite concepts, but really it's not. You have to let go of some things in order to proceed with life. My sister and I were talking this morning. I've really been enjoying the meditations from Cantebury Cathedral, the morning prayers and the evening prayers coming from Cantebury in in England. I need to put a link in the description box below so you guys can subscribe to that and get information about it. It's a wonderful meditation. It's only 20 minutes. You get scripture reading, Bible verse. You get a sweet little talk by one of the father, dean. Not sure what he is, but he is awesome. It's always something to kind of take into the day. And this morning, was about concepts of heroes, and that is what the bishop talked about. It was very, very interesting. It's always, and those things that he's talking about are all kind of knitted together. So, even in that, Canterbury Cathedral has been closed since COVID, and even they have let go of having congregational meetings and congregational prayers and things like that. They've let go, but they've also stepped out in faith and are hosting this YouTube channel, which is just like one of my favorite things. Plus, this is our medieval creative cluster here. It's they have cats there. So there's always cats. They also have chickens. So yesterday's morning prayers was from the chicken coop. It is awesome. So I will be sure and put a link in the description box below so you can, just have a little meditation time with Canterbury Cathedral. I love these 1983 house ads in Country Living magazine. This is a stone home estate. It's on 5 acres, restored century-old home, 12 rooms, fireplace, pine floors, woodwork, beaded wood ceiling boards, wainscoting in the kitchen, plus oak cabinets, 1.5 baths, extra large, double garage, $89,000. I love it. Corn cob syrup. Who knew that you could make syrup from corn cobs? I thought this was so interesting, you guys, because when my mother-in-law would can corn, she would always scrape the cob. And that's just like this extra bunch of juicy, wonderful goodness that you don't really think about. If you're preparing corn, you cut it off the cob, or I do because I can't bite. I have a permanent retainer on my front teeth, my upper teeth, so I can't bite into things like apples and corn and things like that. A really sweet vintage greeting card for you. But I remember watching her scrape that corn cob, and it was like, oh my goodness. But I did not know you can combine that with brown sugar and make syrup. You think about the way that our ancestors cooked and what clever people they were. This is a shaker porch, and these women are shaker women, and they're making their little baskets. Very inspiring. This is a day at the beach. Again, I think I talked about that one in the previous flip of the journal. I just love the beach, you guys. I really hope that I can get there soon. It's been 3 years since I've actually been to a beach, but in 2018 I was fortunate enough to see the Adriatic Sea. Of course, when my sweet sister took me to Italy. I love the colors of these pages. This one is super old. This is 1930s. This one is 1983. This is probably 1940. The patina that text documents develop is one of the most beautiful things in the whole wide world. So we have a little item here that says coronavirus. We know all about the things that we can't do, but you guys, I want you to make a list of things that you can do, okay? And you've got a lot of room to write on the back. You've got lined paper right here to encourage you to not focus on the things that you can't do, but to focus on the things that you can do. And there are a lot of things that you can do. I know we miss our families. I got to see my mom and my dad yesterday because my sister went up for a very quick visit, just like a 24-hour visit to see them because it was it was Father's Day, it was my mom's birthday, and I got to see my mama and daddy. I love to visit with my kids on Duo. I love to I mean, aren't we lucky that this thing is happening, but we're still able to keep in touch with our family and friends. The Text Me Creative Cluster is right here. This is a little piece that says generous and true. And of course, we have our sweet, sweet furry pets right there. Furry friends. They are friends, aren't they? I love my little Mia dog, and I miss my Kronk every single day, and I just think about, of course there's a time when, it's going to happen, and I'm going to be real sad, because she's my little girl, and I just love her so much. But we won't talk about that. More of that super cool book. You guys, if you are at the Dollar Tree, look for that. They've been having giant books for $1. That's a whole lot of paper for $1, my friend. Got some house plans here. And this card says, with love. It is a cobbled Christmas card. This one says memory. Pull that back a little bit. The aforementioned corn. Our corn will probably be in at the end of the month. We're excited about that. Everybody gets excited about Farmer Steve's corn. And our last creative cluster in this book is our Secret Garden cluster, complete with key imagery. I really do love the way this one came together too. This is 1992, has a 1992 stamp. Do extraordinary things is your journal prompt. So guys, I will get these in the store a little later on today. Just got out and watered the garden and just kind of ran in and did this video, so I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you'll have a good day, and I hope that you will observe this moon day as, the moon is always there in the sky, but we only see parts of it and portions of it. But, there is a wholeness to the moon all the time, even though it might be a half moon or full moon or a part moon, or like yesterday as a new moon, which is an absence of moon. So focus on yourself. Be you, be the unique individual that you are, navigate the day. Remember, we are at summer solstice, so renew, reinvigorate, re-energize, and be you, y'all. See you soon. Take care. Bye.